Hello everyone, welcome! So, today I'm going to be doing a first impressions of Radiant Tale. I don't know how it's pronounced in English, but in Japanese it's fanfare. I don't know if it's like funfair in English, I don't know. But it's the fan disc of Radiant Tale, which means that it is sort of bonus stories or like other routes that are added sort of on as if, so you basically have to finish the fan disc. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, start from the beginning. Basically, you need to play Radiant Tale, and once you've played Radiant Tale, you can then play the game that I will be talking about today, because today's game sort of is a collection of stories that happens after or if Tefalia, the main character, were to have gone a different pathway, that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. Hi Kennedy, hi Marshmallow, welcome. I'm not here for long. I'm out going on a date with my bestie. Oh, bless you. Well, have fun on your date, Kennedy. I hope you have a good day. Thank you for popping by to say hi. I appreciate it. But yes, so I'm doing a first impressions video of the fan disc of Radiant Tale, and sort of telling you about my experiences so far, because I've played Jinniaaaa and Zora, some of the interlude stories, and a bit of Pashalia. So I haven't played the entire thing. I've played a couple, I've dipped into it, and I will tell you how I feel about it so far. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to join and then I shall start. But let me hide my face, because now that I've said things, I'm feeling a bit embarrassed now. Just hide my face, make it smaller. There we go. I'm not expecting too many people, to be honest, because it's fairly early. Normally I stream in like a couple of hours time, I would say. Right now is probably not peak, if you know what I mean. Can't wait to play Radiant Tale one day. Oh yeah, it was I'd say Radiant Tale is very much one of my kind of favorites in terms of like coziness. I felt very comfy playing it. There were emotional moments, but I didn't feel like complete despair at the end. It just felt like, it sort of felt like a JRPG turned into an otome game almost. I don't know, it felt that way. And for those who are watching this and are like, oh, I haven't played Radiant Tale, I have made a review, so check that out. Maybe I should put it in the comments. I mean, put it in the description so people can go to it. But yeah, feel free to go and watch that. Also, I want to apologize for the state that I discovered my videos and VODs to be. Like, literally a week or so ago, I discovered that YouTube has been implementing ads to my videos that are like every 3 minutes, and I'm like, no one wants to watch a video that has ads every 3 minutes. So I've sorted that out. I've gone out and like removed all of them. I think you get like 1 ad per 30 minutes on a video maybe, but I have removed all the excess ones that are completely unnecessary. I hate that they did that. It's so bad. It just ruins everyone's experience, you know? But yes, I just want to apologize for that in advance, because yeah, I just think it's awful basically. But yeah. Oh, and the question of the video, you can't see it at the moment, is who is your favorite Radiant Tale love interest? You can include the 2 side characters of Liyan and Jinnia if you'd like, or even like Alistair or something, I don't know. But if you could comment that below and tell me why, I'd be very curious to know. Hi Chibijirachi, welcome! I know, I was like, what is going on? It feels really crappy, you know, because like, as I said, who wants to watch a video where there's an ad every 3 minutes? It's just, who would want to watch that? If you've got an ad blocker, or I guess you pay premium, I'm guessing, the YouTube thing, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But for like the average person like me, AFK for a second to check the map and come back clearly apologizing. So I was apologizing about the ads being like every 3 minutes in my videos that I discovered the other day. So normally in YouTube it has like this setting that's like, oh, let YouTube put mid-rolls, and it used to be one in the middle maybe of the video. I've completely disabled it for streams now, but it would be sort of like at the 30-minute mark, and I guess for an hour video it would be like 30 minutes, a little commercial break almost, and then the rest of the video. And I thought that's fine, but I discovered when I was sorting things out and organizing for once that YouTube has been putting in like sneaky 2-minute like every 2 minutes and ads, and especially nowadays you get ads that are like 5 hours long. If you don't skip it, you've got an ad that's going on for 5 hours, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, and I can't even check how ads look on my vids because in Russia there are no ads. Yeah, it's fine if you have no ads, it's not a problem. But if you're the type, like me, an average person with having to deal with ads, it's just like, I'd probably like unsubscribe, to be honest. I'd be like, what is this? So I don't blame it if people have done that with my channel, to be honest. But I thought I'd put it out there right now so that those who are like, why are there ads all of a sudden, what's happened to Luli, like she's gone crazy, it's not me, I promise you. I have removed most of them now within my control at least. But okay, I think I shall start now. This will be a fairly short stream, I think, because a first impressions video tends to be quite short. I thought about making this a video initially, but I thought I prefer streams. So for the question, while I also haven't played the first one yet, based on vibes, I feel like I'm going to like Eon. For what I know, he seems like the aloof, looks scary, but actually a giant teddy bear. Yes, I do like Eon. Eon is... I can't remember what order I placed them. Like, obviously, the order in which I like the characters and the order in which I like the roots are completely different more often than not. So it kind of, you know, but I think I remember really enjoying Eon's route, and to be honest, the character was pretty cool as well. People from other countries do see ads on my vids, but for me, example, Lily, I don't see ads on YouTube or Twitch. Yeah, I've sorted out Twitch as well. Twitch, I think I've disabled ads completely now. I know I gain like a couple of pennies from it, but I just don't think the couple of pennies is worth the lack of enjoyment people get because they have to wait for the ad to finish. Like, at least YouTube you can skip, but like Twitch, it's like a minute-long ad sometimes, and you have to sit there watching it. It's just not nice. But, so, welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions video, or first impressions stream on the Radiant Tale fan disc. For those who don't know what a fan disc is sort of like accumulation of bonus stories or after stories, or like little bits of, not quite fan service, but you get to see like the fluffy romantic parts, sort of interactions with the characters, more so than typically in the main game, because the main game often focuses on plot, and then the fan disc is like, oh, and this is how they are as a couple type of thing. So this is a little bit like that. Obviously I'm going to go into a bit more detail as to what this fan disc is like, but so note that I will try not to say any spoilers of the first game, like nothing explicit. So maybe like I'll say some personality traits that you discover maybe in the first game, I don't know, things like that, but I will do my best not to touch upon the plot of the first game and just kind of tell you my feelings of this fan disc. But before I start, I'd like to thank all of my patrons and like server boosters and all those who have supported me in various different ways. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me, given that, you know, I don't really expect people to necessarily donate for my streams or videos, so it is quite like a nice surprise, and I don't know, it does boost motivation, so thank you very much. Question of the video is, who is your favourite Radiant Tale love interest or even side character? Please comment it below just to boost my algorithm. I don't actually know how much of an effect it has, but I thought I'd just do that just in case. But anyway, let me start. So, the Radiant Tale Fanfare fan disc, it actually has sort of 3 categories. So you have the after story, which focuses on the main love interests in the first game, sort of what happens after their best ending. So, you know, all of the characters typically have an happily ever after. And Radiant Tale is very like fluffy, happy games, so their best endings is just really sweet and cute. And this is sort of like a focus on how their lives end up being and all of that. Admittedly, so normally fan discs I'm not like that into, because I enjoy the kind of tension of, oh my god, they're starting to like each other, are they gonna get together, how quickly, and like that tension, that's the bit that I really enjoy. So once the characters get together, I'm like, meh. I know that sounds really bad, but that's how I feel. But I did enjoy the couple of routes. So I've played Zora, after story, a Jinniaaaa if story, and I'm currently playing a bit of Pashalia after story. So like Zora, I was kind of surprised to see that the after story plot was quite decent, and Pasahalia's one is going quite well too. So instead of me kind of going, yeah, you guys are happy, I get it, it's very sweet, I'm sort of like, oh, something's happening to the world again, this is really interesting. And so it keeps me like actually playing, as opposed to just kind of being a bit bored. I know that sounds really bad, but so the after stories for the 2 characters that I've played have been really good. Now I've quickly gone to Otome Kitten's review just to see what my thoughts are compared to hers for the routes I've played, and I think they kind of align. And I also saw that she spoke about the other characters, and I think Zora had like quite, don't get me wrong, it was very fluffy, like the way the romance was, but I did think that, oh, okay, so there's nothing like too spicy, it's just cute. But then I looked at Otome Kitten and some of the other characters, apparently there is some fan service, so I'm like, oh, okay, so I clearly played one of the more tame routes. Pashalia has been quite a good one so far, actually. So yeah, there's probably a range in how cute and romantic the routes are. Some probably focus on plot more, others maybe less. But definitely, I am really looking forward to the other routes too, to be honest. Now, if story is basically, so in Radiant Tale, you've got the common route, and then at the end of the common route, you had like this common route ending. And that basically was, if you picked all the options that didn't have anything to do with the main love interest in the first game, you went just down this like different ending where Jinniaaaa appears and like, oh, I want you to be my secretary, and you're like, wait, what? And in the main game, it finishes there. So they knew what they were doing. They knew that in the fan disc, they were going to add Jinniaaaa and Liyan as a route. So, you know, that's kind of where the if story is. So the if story is Jinniaaaa and Liyan's sort of respective routes of their own. Oh, God. Now, there was also this interlude story thing. I did play it a little bit, but they're basically like short bonus snippets of other characters' points of view held within sort of the timeline of the very first game, and it is kind of cute sort of reading them. It almost was like, you know, I think quite a lot of otome games nowadays have bonus stories, where if you play the entirety and get all the endings or whatever, it unlocks like a bonus story, and it was a little bit like that, where you kind of see a little snippet, and depending on, you know, what routes you play in this fan disc, it would unlock different interlude stories. So it's kind of fun. I've only read like a couple, but they are really cute to read. And then let me quickly look at the chat. Like I haven't played first one yet as well, but I mentally put it into happy and fun otome list. Yeah, it's really comfy and cozy. I really like it. But yeah, so that's that. Oh, one more thing. Let me quickly describe what Radiant Tale is about. Radiant Tale is set in this fantasy world with like magic and beasts and fairies, and it's really like sparkly. And it's about this main character who, obviously, because most otome games go like this, wants to just live an ordinary life. And but what basically this prince is in this state of dormancy where he's like depressed and all of this, and the only way to wake him up and bring him to his self again is by making this very special flower bloom, and the only way to do that is getting a whole bunch of people to feel in extreme happiness. And so Jinniaaaa starts this circus thing where he's gone out and collected a number of different people, and they all go on an adventure together and perform to bring happiness to different people. But in the main story, it sort of goes in the common route. They go to different cities to do performances, and each city has some sort of issue or another that they would resolve and then turn that into a circus thing, and it would all be like, yeah, and yeah, that's kind of like the story of the main game, and obviously this is a continuation of that, but it does kind of recap what did happen in the main game, which is nice because it'd been quite a while since I played, you know, the main game. So when I came to playing the fan disc, I was like, okay, I don't actually know what happened, but they kind of almost do like, not quite a slideshow, but almost felt that way, where they did like a slideshow of the CGs of the first game while explaining, oh yeah, I remember when this and this happened, but it was short and sweet, and so it was like a summary, and it actually really helped me. I quite liked it. So in some ways, if you're like, okay, I don't care about the first game, I just want to play the fan disc, I don't know why, but there could be people out there, then, you know, I guess you would be able to get the quick summary of what happened before each route. It just obviously you might be a little bit more lost. Oh, I like interlude stories. It's good for world building. Yeah, that's the thing. It does help sort of kind of add a bit of padding to the main game. It's quite cool. Okay, bye Kennedy. Thank you for coming by. Now, system, so the length is it's quite short, I'm not gonna lie. So the after story and even if story, so they took about 1.5 to 2 hours per route maybe. So, and you know what, it's really weird. It could just be that I was really enjoying it, but the if stories, which are supposed to be like full-on routes, felt shorter than the after stories. I don't know why. I don't know if it might be because I was just enjoying it so much, but it was just really weird that it was so short because it's supposed to be a full route, and that did make me sad, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, oh, but it's like a whole new character, shouldn't it be like a long route like all the other characters? Ugh, anyway, whatever. So yeah, this fan disc is quite a short one, I would say, which means, you know, if you're busy and you want something short and sweet, it would be nice because, you know, it's just like playing a couple of hours here and there will be good enough. And yeah, the interlude episodes are unlocked. So for example, in the after stories, you get like different choices, and even though it's like a fan disc, and it doesn't affect the story of that sort of after story. But if you get all the right answers, it then unlocks an interlude episode. So there will be like these interlude episodes are sort of unlocked based on, yeah, your performance, shall we say, in the after stories. And there are different like criteria to unlocking them. So I guess if you want to read all the interlude episodes, you're going to have to play all the other bits and make sure you've ticked all the boxes using a walkthrough maybe. At least that's what I'm doing anyway. Now, of course, there's skip read and love catch. Thank God for people like me who are terrible at making choices, like the right ones. So, you know, if you're kind of worried, oh no, maybe I won't be able to get all the right answers, well, you got love catch. And if you're impatient like me, then you've got skip read, so you can just like skip to the next option and it's all good, you know? But yeah, 1.5 to 2 hours per the after if stories, and the like interlude episodes are, you know, like 5 to 10 minutes, at least the ones I've played. Now let me quickly like briefly, you know, I'm sure many of you already know who Tafalia is, but I'll quickly like recap. So Tafalia lost her parents at a young age, and note that this is stuff you learn right at the beginning of the main games, and you're, you know, is in the website and stuff, so don't worry too much about it spoiling the main game, it really doesn't. But yeah, she lost her parents at a young age and was taken by her aunt with Raddy. She, as I said earlier, wants to live an ordinary life, But suddenly, I can't remember why, but because of something, Jinniaaaa is like, oh my god, you'd be perfect for circus as a producer. And so she ends up being dragged into this and, you know, this extraordinary life. Joins, you know, a little bit against her will, but her aunt is like, nah, you should go because you need to explore the world and all of this. So she goes. And yeah, she's a very strong and confident girl that takes the initiative. And I think she's a pretty solid main character. I really like her. I think she's really cute, both in romance and on her own. It's just, I don't know. I like her. She's really cute, as you can see. Now, I'm just going to go through the characters that I have played the roots of, because I don't want to sort of talk nonsense about characters I haven't even played. This is a first impressions video after all. But the first sort of root or after story I played was Zora, who is voiced by Liyan and Jinnia, who also voices Ryuki from Cupid Parasite. You know, in the main game, he was a tomboy right from the start. He always will be. And I'm not gonna lie, it's cute seeing that struggle. Like, he really struggles to be honest with himself. Like, you know, Tafalia would be like, why can't you just, you know, say on your honest thoughts? And he just really struggles. And I kind of understand it, because I'm a little bit like that. I sometimes struggle to say how I actually feel, or all of that. So I do see it, and you know, when you see his point of view, it is kind of like, oh bless you, you really do struggle, and it melts my heart. The plot for Zora's route was interesting. It kept me entertained. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of the fantasy routes where it's like, oh no, I can't tell him how to say, I can't tell him how much I care for him, I need to go and buy a gift. Like, I've come across fandoms like that where I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, frankly, I don't care. You know, that sounds really mean. But, you know, you do get a lot of fan discs where it's all about like the main character struggling to tell the, you know, love interest how much she cares or whatever. In my opinion, boring plot points. But in Zora's route, there was an actual sort of non-couple related actual world plot thing that happened, and I like that. I much prefer that, because it feels like, oh, you know, there's a story that I actually want to know the continuation of. So that was Zora. I'll note that I felt like while the romance is of course there and it's fluffy and cute, at least in Zora and the routes that I have played, I haven't seen anything like, I wouldn't say this is a spicy game. It's a fluffy, cute love kind of game. It's not like Pio Fiore or Olympia Soiree. It is kind of like, oh, they're cute holding hands, they're cute kissing, like that sort of thing, you know? And the Zora's after it was like that. It still has the doki doki moments, but it's not like, whoa, I shouldn't be playing this in the bus, if you know what I mean. Hi, Struck a Nerve, welcome! Jinniaaaa is so good at voicing tomboys. He really is, because Ryuki is also a tomboy, and he does such a good job. Now, the route I'm currently playing is, I think I've got to chapter 3 or 4, I don't know. But he's past Haria. He's voiced by Umehara Yuichiro, who also voiced Kanusu from Cafe Enchante and Benke from Birushana. And he's head in the clouds, gentleman. Oh, he's just so sweet, bless him. He's like so fluffy and nice, and a complete green flag in my opinion. So pretty. All his CGs are absolutely gorgeous. I remember like in the first game being mesmerized. There's one CG that I'm just sort of like, oh my gosh, this is now my favorite CG of all Automate games now, like that sort of level. In the main game, his route was my favorite. He's not my favorite love interest, but his route was just, oh, especially towards the end. Oh, I don't want to say anything, obviously, because it's spoilers, but all I can say is I really enjoyed his route, and I'm hoping I'll enjoy him in his Bandis route as well. So far, I'm at the point where the plot is starting to build, and I am really enjoying it. So, in fact, right now, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. So, you know. He is, interestingly, kind of I think this could be my way of interpreting it, but I think he's a little bit maybe possessive. He shows like slight jealousy, but not in a twisted way, like the extreme way, but in a kind of cute, "Aw, you're so cute" kind of way, which was a nice surprise for me, I think. And you see that a bit in the fan disc, and I quite liked it. It's just you don't really expect it so much from such a fluffy head in the clouds character, you know, these like little traits, so that was nice. So those are the 2 after stories I have played so far. Moving on to the if stories. So the one if story I have played is Jinniaaaa, who is voiced by Kondo Takashi, who voiced Majima from what is it called? Butterflies, Poison, Blood Chains? Is that the name of the English version? Yeah, that's who he also voices. He speaks like a woman and cares a lot about beauty. So I remember in the first game, I felt very like, originally when I saw his design, I was like, oh my god, why is he not a love interest? Like, I can't believe it. But then you play the main game, the common route, and you're sort of like, okay, I see him more like an older sister than a love interest. So then I wasn't all that disappointed that he wasn't a love interest. But then he appears as a love interest in this fan disc, and I'm not like necessarily super hyped or anything. I am like interested to see how his route goes. And I was very surprised, like pleasantly surprised. Right from the start, you're like, oh, okay. Well, now my views of you have changed completely. For those who have played this game, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, right at the start already, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was very interested in him, and I played this route, and I see him differently now, and I really like him. He's so, I don't know, it's just, he's so cool. I thought the chemistry between him and the main character was really good as well, even though there's quite an age gap. It was really tastefully done. I liked his route. So yeah, no, definitely recommend. And he's so pretty. Look at him. Yeah, no, I really liked his route. Now, I haven't played Liyan route, but I thought I need to tell you guys that he is an option now in the fan disc, because so many people during playing the main game was like, why isn't Liyan a love interest? I can't deal with it. Well, he's a love interest now. He's a total flirt with Thalia, like from the main game, from the beginning all the way through, and even shows it during the fan disc, even in other characters' routes. But he does kind of help Thalia and the group here and there, which is nice. I thought, I have been curious about him, but I think his route is the one that I'm anticipating most in this game, and I will probably leave his route until the very end. I have heard that Vilio is the best after story to play at the end, because it kind of brings it all together. It feels very like that's the end kind of thing. But I think I'll leave Liyan till last, just because I want a route to finish up the game with. But yeah, he's an owner of a pub chain, complete flirt, very like playboy-ish. And yeah, oh, he's also voiced by Watanabe Hiroshi, who I don't know what character this is. I just like put it in there. But if you recognize him, great. If not, all I'm gonna say is he does a good job, and that's what matters. So now I come to who I recommend it and who I don't. I recommend it to those who adored the main game, obviously. If you really love the main game and you love the characters, I would totally play the fan disc as well. Now, if you only enjoyed, like, let's say Zora and Raddy or something, then obviously, you know, you can always just play those 2 routes, but I would recommend it more to those who enjoyed a whole bunch, so they can get the most out of the game. But obviously we will play games differently. Some of you probably are more than happy to play the game in like oh yeah, I'll just pick and choose type of way. Well, I know people are, like, I'm more of a completionist when it comes to otome games. I like completing every little bit. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. I would also recommend it to those who wanted Jinnia and Liyan as love interests. I think you also have like an if story of Colivus and Alistair, like a kind of that's another route. But I don't know. I'm not that interested. I'll see how I feel, and obviously I might change my mind by the time I make a review video. But yeah, if you had side character syndrome in Radiant Tale, the main game, yeah, this will be great because you do get Jinnia and Liyan routes. However, as I said, they are quite short. They felt a lot shorter than the routes in the main game. So that's something to take note of when, you know, purchasing this. I'd also recommend it to those who want to know some of the other, point of view during the main game. As I said, they're the interlude stories, are like little snippets of characters and their sort of experiences during the timeline of the main game. It does kind of add a bit of padding, which is really nice because it helps with the world building. It's just nice. So if you like that sort of thing, then I also recommend this game. Now, I would not recommend it to people who obviously didn't enjoy the main game. If you didn't enjoy the main game, chances are you're not going to enjoy the fan disc either. Like, if you didn't particularly bond with any of the characters, you didn't think much of the plot, then you're probably not going to enjoy the fan disc because it is basically the same, like, world and character. Like, it's not like the personalities are going to change. They're going to be exactly the same, so... You know, I also wouldn't recommend to those expecting something like particularly spicy. At least so far, the routes I've played have been it's been more cute romance than sexy romance, if you know what I mean. Now, it may be that I just haven't played the right routes or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think this game just is a very fluffy one. So, you know, if you're looking for something extra spicy, I would go for like Pure Fiore sequel or something. I don't know. I also wouldn't recommend it for those who want like full-on long length routes for side characters. As I said earlier, it's a lot shorter than I expected. So yeah, if you're wanting a long read, it may not be for you. And also I wouldn't, recommend it too much to those who want like full-on plot heavy, because naturally the after stories, while there is external plot going on, they do focus a lot on the characters as a couple. So like, while it was entertaining enough for me and that I like the plot stuff, it isn't like that's the huge main focus. It does feel very much like that's kind of some of it, and some of it's the couple. So yeah, I mean, if you want plot heavy, obviously go for the main game type of thing, because this is a fan disc. I guess it's very self-explanatory in terms of whether I recommend it or not. But that comes to my general thoughts and rating. So far, it's I can't quite justify giving it a 7. Like, I kind of want to give it a 7 out of 10 because I do really enjoy this game. It's just that because it's so short, I can't help but think that it's the kind of game that maybe get it on sale unless like you really, really enjoyed the main game, because normally Otome games take from like 35, 45 hours to complete, that sort of thing. This game, it feels like it's gonna take me like 20 hours to complete it, and that'll be it. Like, it's so short. So for the full price, I don't think I can justify like a extremely high score. It's really like nice and comfy, and it's great for like when you want to read something, quick and sweet and cute. Like, don't get me wrong, it's the length, at least the routes I've played so far, it didn't feel rushed or anything like that. It's just, I can't help but feel like I wanted more, if that makes sense. So especially the if routes. I just think if you've got a side character and you're gonna make a whole route for them, then it should be as long as the routes were in the main game, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm giving it a 6.8 out of 10. I just can't quite justify a 7 and above when it's such a short game for that price. Like, okay, if it's on sale, I might even give it like an 8 out of 10, right? Because I am enjoying this fan disc. It's just because it's so expensive. I just can't help but knock down a couple of points for it. So yeah, if you're really into Radiant Tale, then I would recommend you getting this fan disc. But if you're sort of like, oh yeah, it was fun, I enjoyed it, but it's not, you know, your favorite, or you weren't like super excited about it, then I may wait for a sale. I wouldn't say, oh, it's rubbish, don't buy it. Like, I mean, I never really say that. I do recommend the game. It's fun. I like it as a fan disc. It is short. So if you kind of value time for money, then yeah, maybe get it on sale. So those are kind of like my general thoughts so far. And yeah, that's it basically. And thank you for staying here until the end. Do ask any questions if you have any. I know it's not really like the busiest time, so there probably isn't gonna be many, but I am more than happy to take some questions if there are any. But yeah, no, overall, I think I really enjoy this game. It's still sparkly, it's still comfy, it's happy, it's pretty, it's romantic, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just, yeah, it's just quite short. Now I'll wait a little bit for comments. I mean, and if there's any questions. If not, then yeah, it'll probably be the end of this very quick stream, to be honest. But yeah. Oh god, what's going on? I'm so excited to play both the first game and this one. I really like it. I do love this game. If you like fantasy, if you like sort of RPGs, maybe it does feel like an RPG that's turned into an otome game. It's just, I don't know, it is very cozy. It just felt like even the terrible endings didn't feel that awful, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster with some routes, but I didn't feel despair-ridden. It always felt like, maybe it's because Tefali is quite a positive girl. It just felt kind of, everything's gonna eventually be okay type of thing. But I don't think anyone's got any questions or anything, so I think I will leave it there. But yeah, as always case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my streams or videos. Bye!